Hi, Kukla. If you've made it here through the entire series, I want you to stay with me for a little bit longer because this is the one I've been building toward. Some truths don't shout, they sit quietly until you're ready to admit them. People ask me sometimes, and I mean this genuinely. They pull me aside and ask, how do you stay so steady? How do you not get swept away? And I used to give a short answer, something like practice, routine, perspective. All true, all incomplete. Because what I've learned after a long life of watching people, including myself, is that the real answer is uncomfortable. Because it's not a technique, it's a decision you have to make before you need it. Every single day. On the ordinary Tuesdays when nothing is wrong, when nobody is watching, when there's no emergency to rise to and no one to impress with your calm. That's when peace is built. And most people never build it then. They wait for the storm and then wonder why they have nothing to stand on. We started this series with a phone call. A stranger, a volunteer, a woman whose actual job was to call people and give them joy. And I asked a question I hope sat with a lot of you. How did we get here? Not as a criticism of her, she was very kind, but as a genuine question about what we've built without meaning to. Because what I've been watching for years and what I wanted to name out loud in these videos is this. We stopped trusting ourselves to handle our own interior emotions and lives. And we did it so gradually, so gently, so reasonably. One reassurance sought, one decision outsourced, one silence filled at a time, that most people didn't even know it was happening. We talked about reassurance and how the thing that feels like support can slowly become the thing that makes you feel like you can't stand without it. We talked about attention and how someone who is always there is not the same as someone who truly sees you. We talked about silence and how the noise we fill it with isn't keeping us company, it's keeping us from ourselves. We talked about loneliness that has nothing to do with how many people are in the room and everything to do with how far you've drifted from your own life. We talked about emotions as visitors, not as residents, not emergencies, but weather that passes if you let it move through. Every single one of these conversations was about the same thing: the slow, quiet erosion of self-trust, and what it costs you, and what it takes to build it back. That's what this whole series has been. And this last video is where I want to tell you what I actually know about the building. But before I tell you what peace looks like as a practice, I have to tell you something I don't often say. I was not always this way. People look at someone who seems settled and assume it's their nature, that they were assembled differently, that the calm is just how they came. That is not my story. There was a period in my life, I won't go into all of it right now, for now it's mine to keep, but there was a real period where I was not okay, where I needed people in ways that frightened me, where I reached for external things, reassurance, distraction, the comfort of having someone tell me I was going to be fine, because I genuinely did not know how to generate that feeling myself. I was not performing neediness. I was not being weak. I was someone who had never learned to sit with her own interior weather. And I didn't know that's what was missing until much later. So when I talk about building peace, when I tell you it's a practice, a decision, a daily unglamorous thing, I'm not talking from the outside looking in. I'm talking from someone who had to build it from the ground up. who started with none, who made the mistake more than once of outsourcing her steadiness to people and circumstances that could not hold it reliably, and who learned slowly, not all at once, what it actually takes. I say this not to make you feel sorry for me. I say it because I think some of you are where I was, and I want you to know that where I was is not where you have to stay. My mother, God rest her soul, was the steadiest person I have ever known. Not because her life was easy, it was not. She was diagnosed young with a terminal disease, and a few years later, my father left her. She raised me on very little. She carried grief that she never fully put down. She just learned somewhere along the way to carry it without it bending her. I used to watch her in the mornings, just her and I in the house. She had a small routine that never changed. She would make her coffee in the same percolator pot she'd used for years, pour it into a cup, and sit at the vanity. Just sit there. Not on the phone, not listening to anything, not doing anything, just sitting at the vanity with her coffee. I asked her once, I was young, maybe 10 or 11. I asked her what she was doing. She looked at me and said, I'm deciding the day is good before it has a chance to tell me otherwise. I didn't understand what she meant then. I do now. She wasn't pretending. She wasn't suppressing something. She wasn't performing contentment for anyone. She was practicing every single morning before the day asked anything of her. She was doing the internal work of arriving at steadiness on her own terms. Nobody called to help her feel okay. Nobody texted to check in. Heck, we didn't even have cell phones then, so no apps to remind her to be grateful. She just sat there at the vanity and decided. And then she put the cup down and got on with it. That's the whole practice. That's everything I've been trying to say in several videos. Right there, in a woman sitting at her vanity with a coffee cup in hand. So what does this mean for you? Not as a philosophy, as an actual daily thing. It means finding the version of the vanity, your coffee cup, your ordinary thing that you do alone, quietly, without anyone watching or approving, that brings you back to yourself before the day has a chance to take you somewhere else. For me, it's always been my hands doing something useful. Cleaning, cooking, folding laundry, baking. Not because the task is the point, but because when my hands are working, my mind settles. And when my mind settles, I remember who I am and what I actually think, and what I actually feel, separate from what anyone else is telling me I should feel. That's emotional regulation, Kukla. That's building self-trust. That's inner peace, not as a destination you arrive at once, but as a state you return to daily through small, repeated, unglamorous acts. It doesn't require a class. It doesn't require an app. It doesn't require anyone's permission, approval, or awareness. It requires repetition. The same thing, your thing, every day, before you need it. Because here's what I know after a long life. The day will come. It always comes. When no one calls. When the people you've leaned on aren't available. When the distraction stops working. When it's just you and the interior of your own life, and however much steadiness you've built up in the quiet days. And on that day, the only thing standing between you and the feeling that you cannot cope is the practice, the vanity, the cup, the decision made in advance that the day is going to be okay. That woman who called me to spread joy, she started all of this. One phone call, one question I didn't answer. And several videos later, here we are. I want to say something to the people who have been here for all of it. You didn't have to stay. There's so much noise, so much content, so many people telling you how to feel and what to do and who to be. You chose to spend some time here, and I don't take that lightly. I hope somewhere in these several conversations, you found the thing that was yours to find. Maybe it was the reassurance piece. Maybe it was the silence. Maybe it was just hearing someone say plainly that joy is not delivered, that it's built, practiced, decided, earned in the quiet. And feeling for a moment like you already knew that. Because you did, Kukla. You already knew. You just needed someone to remind you and stop calling to give it to you and start trusting you to generate it yourself. That's what I hope I did. My mother sat at that vanity every morning of her life. Nobody saw it, nobody applauded it, but she arrived every day already steady. That's what I want for you. Go find your vanity. You don't have to rush, Kukla, but you do have to be honest. I'll see you in your second act.